All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful and kind of counterintuitive idea about success. The gist is this. The greatest victories, well, they're won long before the fight even starts. You know that picture we all have of winning? That dramatic, down-to-the-wire struggle against a tough opponent? Yeah, what if that's completely wrong? What if the true masters of strategy have a secret? A way to win that's quiet, totally certain, and honestly, almost effortless. So let's start by just tearing down that whole idea of the Hollywood victory. Because, as you're about to see, real strategic genius isn't about winning a hard fight. It's about making that fight totally unnecessary in the first place. So it really boils down to two completely different ways of thinking. On one hand, you've got the Hollywood win. We love this one, right? It's exciting, it's risky, makes for a great movie. But then there's the Masters win. And this is a whole different ballgame. To an outsider, it probably looks, well, kind of boring. And that's the whole point. It's a win that's built on rock-solid preparation, not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. And this isn't some new idea. It's thousands of years old. Just think about what this is really saying. If your victory is messy and bloody and gets a huge round of applause, it means you are backed into a corner. You're forced to take a huge risk. The greatest strategists, they set things up so the win is so obvious and so easy, there's nothing to even cheer about. It was just the logical next step. Okay, so how do you actually do this? Well, the very first principle is a big one, and it's all about where you focus your energy first. Before you even think about winning, your number one job is to simply become unbeatable. So what does it mean to be unbeatable? Well, it's a state you create for yourself. It's all about locking down your own position, reinforcing your defenses, patching up any weaknesses. And here's the kicker. This is the one part of the whole strategic puzzle that you have 100% control over, right? You can't make your opponent mess up, but you absolutely can make it impossible for them to beat you. To see how this plays out in the real world, just picture a growing tech company. Now, their big, flashy goal might be to dominate the market, but what's the very first thing a smart company does? They build a fortress. They pour money into top-tier cybersecurity, locking down their data, their code, their customers' info. They make themselves unbeatable, safe from attack, before they even think about going on offense to get new customers. It's all about controlling what you can control first. And this all leads to a really simple but honestly profound rule of thumb. You gotta know when to defend and when to attack. If your position isn't strong enough, if your strength is, let's say, insufficient, you play defense. You hide your true power, like it's buried deep underground. But when you finally have that superior strength, that overwhelming advantage we've been talking about, that's when you strike. And you strike like a bolt from the heavens. Boom. Sudden, decisive, and just completely unstoppable. Okay, so once you've made yourself secure, winning stops being about guts and glory, and it starts being about something a lot colder: math. For a master strategist, victory is basically a solvable equation. And believe it or not, there's actually a framework for this, a sort of recipe. It's a 5-step process that takes you from just looking at the situation to knowing you're gonna win. You assess, you estimate, you calculate. But look closely. Victory is the very last step. See, it's not the thing you're chasing. It's the logical conclusion, the natural outcome that just pops out after you've done all the heavy lifting in the first 4 steps. Let's go back to our business example. Think about a new product launch. The smart companies, they don't just toss their product out there and hope for the best. No, they run through these exact steps. They're meticulously assessing the market, estimating their budget against everyone else's, and calculating their odds of success. Now, the real moment of truth, the absolute key, is that comparison step. You have to ask yourself, is my advantage just overwhelming? I mean, is it like we're weighing kilograms against grams? Because if the answer is yes, if the scales are tipped that far in your favor, then launching isn't a gamble. Victory is pretty much a sure thing. This quote just nails the whole philosophy perfectly. Losers and amateurs, they charge into battle hoping to find a way to win. But the winners, they find the path to victory first, through all this calculation and preparation, and only then do they start the fight. The battle itself just becomes a formality, really. So let's pull this all together and see what it actually looks like. When all the prep work is done right, the final showdown can seem almost anticlimactic. And that's because the victory was already in the bag, days, weeks, maybe even months before. I want you to picture a master negotiator walking into a huge, high-stakes business deal. To everybody else in that room, the fight is just beginning, but for our master negotiator, the outcome is already a done deal. So how is that possible? Because the real work, the real fight, happened way before they even stepped into the room. They did an insane amount of research. They know the other side's financial weak spots, their internal politics, what they absolutely have to get, and exactly where their breaking point is. Because of all that prep, the negotiation itself looks incredibly smooth. There's no yelling, no dramatic threats. It seems completely effortless to everyone watching. Why? Because the effort was all front-loaded. They aren't trying to win in the room. They are simply collecting on a victory they secured a long time ago. So this massive advantage you've built up, this culmination of all your preparation, there's a word for that. It's a concept called xing. The best way to think about it is like strategic potential energy. You know, like a river building up pressure behind a massive dam. All that power, all that force, just waiting. And when you finally act, it's that immense, unstoppable flood of the bursting dam, all unleashed from a perfect position. So when you boil it all down, you get the master's playbook. And this isn't just theory, it's an action plan. You always secure your base first. You only strike when you have an overwhelming advantage. You win through quiet preparation, not loud drama. You do the math, you don't gamble. And ultimately, your goal isn't just to win. It's to make victory absolutely inevitable. So that really leaves us with one final thought, something for you to take with you. In your next big challenge, whether it's at work or just in life, try not to just think about how you're going to fight the battle. Instead, ask yourself this: how can I set up the entire board? How can I arrange all the pieces, do all the homework, and run all the numbers so that I've already won before the first move is even made?